Hello everyone, I'm Rodney from SweetGameMan.com, and have you ever wanted to have two computer systems in one case? Well, with the Phanteks Enthoo Mini XL dual system case, you can in fact. They have a power splitter and the motherboard bracket inside of this already pre-installed, so you can put a mini ITX and a micro ATX motherboard on the inside of this and share it with just one power supply. The box is quite pretty and informative, and it's packaged quite well. They have protective plastic on all the shiny bits as well as on the windows. Inside there's an accessory box, and in it they include a plastic case that has screws, rubber washers, and everything needed for installing the motherboard and drives and whatnot. Plus, congratulating you on your purchase. Some information here on the power splitter, the user's manual, some cable ties, a Velcro tie, Velcro, a pump bracket, as well as a reservoir bracket and a radiator bracket. So essentially this is the Enthoo Mini XL case, but again it comes pre-installed with the power splitter and motherboard bracket. So right out of the box you can install two motherboards inside of this, and thus they're calling it the Enthoo Mini XL dual system case. A beautiful looking case, sandblasted aluminum at the front. The fit and finish is excellent. On the left side you've got two windows, some ventilation, more ventilation here on the front panel, and even more here. You can fit two 5¼ drive bays, and since it is a dual system, you need to have dual IOs, right? System 2 is here, power switch and reset switch. Here's the audio jacks, and they include two USB 3 ports. Here's the power button for System 1, and for System 1 you've got audio jacks as well, two USB 3 ports. Here's the reset button and an LED switch. Now the front panel comes off by pulling very firmly at the bottom, and once you do that, just pull all the way around and it will come off. To put it back, you can just snap it back into place like so. They do include two 140mm fans at the front. Optionally, you can install two 120s, and as for radiator support, you can fit a 140 or up to a 240mm radiator. There's also a dust filter at the front, and to release it, press here and pull it out. On the right side panel, there's ventilation for the power supply, and they do include a magnetic dust filter for it. You can install two optional 120mm fans, or alternatively up to a 240mm radiator. These are blocked right now because they don't have obviously any installed, and they do include a dust filter here. And speaking of ventilation, there's more at the bottom. At the back of the case at the very top is a single thumb screw, and if you remove this, you can take off the top panel, slide it backwards, and it comes right off. Now they do have a dust filter incorporated right in the top panel. They don't include any fans, but optionally you can install up to three 120mm fans or up to two 140mm fans, as well when it comes to radiators, a 140 or up to a 240. Thankfully, you can install a standard ATX power supply in this case as well. They include rubber rests for the power supply to lodge on. Note that everything's kind of doubled up here. At the top, you can install a mini ITX motherboard. At the bottom, a micro ATX motherboard. So you've got two sets of places to install the I/O panels and as well the expansion slots. Two at the top and 5 here at the bottom. Lots of ventilation. They do include a 120mm exhaust fan, and there are two thumb screws on each side panel. Now before I forget, let's go over the dimensions and the weight. It measures in at 260 by 550 by 480 millimeters and weighs 13.8 kilograms, and that by no stretch of the imagination is small, but really who cares, because you can fit two motherboards on the inside of this. And as I already mentioned, a mini ITX board can be installed at the top, and a micro ATX motherboard can be installed at the bottom. As you can see, there are lots of rubber ground-mounted holes. There's a large hole on the motherboard tray for installing the mini ATX board, and there's plenty of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel for tucking those cables away. Now there's actually three 5¼ drive bays, but only two of them are free because the top one is occupied with the I/O panel for the system, and these are of a toolless design as well. If you want to take a drive out, just press here and push it out. If you want to install a drive, just simply push it in until it snaps. You can install up to 6 3.5-inch drives or up to 8 2.5-inch drives. And actually there are 2 drive cages here, one at the top, another one at the bottom. These can be removed and you can fit 3 drives on each, whether they be 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch drives. And you can also fit a couple more 2.5-inch drives behind the motherboard tray. Okay, so at the bottom you can install up to 2 140mm fans or up to 3 120mm fans. As for radiator support at the bottom, up to a 280 or up to a 360, and that is of course if you don't do a dual video card setup. Okay, so let's go through the clearance on this for the video card, CPU, cable management, and the top radiator. For a video card, you can have one that is up to 289mm in length. That's with the drive cage installed. Without it though, you can have one that's 410mm in length. A CPU cooler that is up to 215mm in height. The cable management behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel is 30mm. That's awesome. And 206mm to the motherboard. That's for the radiator at the top. And there's thumb screws on the expansion slots for the micro ATX board. They include a fan hub, and note the serial ATA power connection. You can attach 7 fans, 6 of them can be 3-pin and 1 a 4-pin. Lots of options here for cable management and plenty of room. So this is the power splitter, and it does exactly what it says. Split the power from one power supply so it can juice 2 motherboards. At the bottom there are 6 rubber feet, and note how everything is kept up off of the surface. That's good because it will allow the bottom fans to intake cool air. Now they have 2 dust filters. To release them, press here and pull them out like so. Being able to install just 1 power supply and have 2 motherboards in one case is just exceptional if you are looking for something like this. Otherwise, you'd probably go for a less expensive standard ATX case. But that being said, this is just outstanding in every way. It looks awesome, the build quality is excellent, and it has a long list of features. Overall, it is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care. Well, that's it, but I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you think this and other videos that I produce are great, please like them and subscribe to the channel. Also, your comments are very welcome, and if you have any questions, let me know.